except for Gettysburg, and I didn't see the need to go all the way to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But I had a nice long discussion with Steve. We had breakfast together at the Embassy Suites and talked about a lot of stuff.
We should get Steve Moskowitz
Yeah,
on.
we need to get. There's a lot of changes going on in as far as AACA, and generally what AACA does, the rest of the hobby sort of follows along to some degree anyway. So
you didn't upset Steve or anything, did you?
I tried.
I know. That's why I asked.
I did try. But we were talking about the building and you know, one of the things that we're seeing, and I'm going to talk about the tour, is, of course, the decrease in membership in all of these things.
You mean in attendance?
In membership in the organization.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's the same that happened down at the VMCCA tour, and Ray Maxfield was talking directly about the number they've lost. They've lost quite a few people.
Maxwell?
Huh?
Ray Maxwell.
Maxfield, yeah, Ray Maxfield. Yeah.
Boy, you've hung out with two presidents.
Yeah, well, I was gonna see Joe, but I couldn't find a mask. Yeah, I couldn't find a mask. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyhow, so there's a lot of changes, and they're hoping to have Hershey this year. They're hoping. It all depends. It's the same what happened in Charlotte, why the Charlotte Motor Speedway couldn't have their stuff, because it's a public business. So in North Carolina, there are all these rules that they can't have this and have that. Well, Hershey Park is open.
Oh, the amusement park.
The amusement park is open, and the reason that they can be open is that it has no public funding. The same now, if you're interested in stuff, Carlisle, the other big flea market in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, all of theirs, like they have Chryslers at Carlisle, they have trucks at Carlisle, they have sports cars, they have all of these different flea markets, and they can be open because they get no government involvement at all in their business, so they can do what they want. And Charlotte, being Motor Speedway, even though it's a private concern, I don't know, he was trying to explain it has something to do with the number of people and all of this kind of stuff, so they couldn't have it at Charlotte. They had it at the convention center on the grounds of the Embassy Suites, just 3/4 of a mile from the racetrack.
Okay.
So it was a totally different way to do the same thing, actually.
Let me ask you something, Steve. Just like you said, it was a totally different way to do things. So what was the reaction of the folks that were there?
Everybody, I heard nothing bad. I didn't hear anything. I mean, they have to play by rules too. So it is what it is at this point, and obviously things are going to change.
Yeah, but don't you think that since we've all been welled up for so long, that anything is better than what
nothing.
We've gone through?
Yeah, something is better than nothing at this point.
Yeah, and it sounds like with the judging, they're still protective, and they've just changed their process a little bit.
Yeah. They don't want to get in the car in case. I don't know how long the germs live on your steering wheel.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. We'll ask the Fouch. He knows.
Yeah. Okay. So you had 240 cars there, and what do you figure? You had 500 people.
Well,
at least?
yeah. Well, and there was a lot of spectators too, because
really?
It's a big place.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was advertised. I mean, the Hornets Nest region put it in the Charlotte paper, so there was a lot of people walking around too.
Yeah.
So outside, was everyone wearing a mask?
The judging teams, yes, it was required of them.
How
but
about
the public, no.
How about rubber gloves?
No.
No
No
gloves.
proctologist
Well,
there.
no,
I know.
I mean, I know, but
I know.
it's the company I do work for. I have to wear a mask and nitrile gloves.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure there were a couple who felt they wanted to. So I didn't
Yeah.
see any. See, in national awards, I don't really do judging team stuff. I'm out by
Right.
myself. But because I had the Jag in Class 25, and I normally do Class 24 and 25 race cars and sports cars, I got assigned a different class, which was 36 or 38 muscle cars. And I'll tell you what, I had these muscle cars that these guys do are absolutely amazing. I walked around and looked at they're out of the 10 cars I had in those classes, the muscle car class. You know, all but 2 were almost perfect cars. These guys are so immaculate, and the nice thing is they're newer, so everything is available, and you know
Right.
it's a cult. And these guys do just an absolutely phenomenal job. I mean, I was just, you got to be kidding me with these things. They've even gone to the point to study as it's going down the assembly line where the inspector would have stood and put the stamp, the general location of his stamp on there. And they have some of them have found out who was working the assembly line that day. All these records are available to these guys. So the guy has his name stamp or initials and does it. I mean,
where,
it just
where do they put it?
wherever whatever they were looking
on the
at.
frame.
On the frame, on the
Yeah.
fenders.
The build sheets on the top of the gas tank on most of these cars.
So it was just phenomenal. I was walking around looking at. There was a Buick GS something or other.
400.
I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
anyway, it was their top line high performance. Was one of the fastest muscle cars, if not the fastest. It's as fast, if not faster, than a Hemi. This is 455, and it was just, it was just absolutely amazing. I was looking at you got to be kidding me.
Well, then the Buick had the Skylark too, right?
But
Well, that was a little car.
yeah, these were, I don't know.
This was the intermediate.
It was the Oldsmobile.
Yeah,
it was
it
like
was
a
like
442 or Chevelle
Yeah.
size
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
And was there a little GTO there?
Yeah, I had one GTO in this class. But what was cool is in the other class, I have a friend who lives in near Asheville, and the high school there got donated a Javelin. And the high school class is restoring this Javelin, so they brought it up for everybody to see and had stuff about what the high school class was doing.
Yeah,
And-
wonderful.
Yeah, and they're doing an exceptionally nice job. One of the old Javelins, the first AMC ones, with the, what was it, 401 or something?
There was a 304.
I don't
wasn't
know.
there?
This is a pretty good size V8 in it.
Yeah, there were 2 or 3 engines in that car.
But so that was kind of neat to see.
Wow.
And if anybody's interested, they're looking for donations to school. And if anybody's interested, call the station or email the station. And if you're interested and like to donate, we send them money to help the kids complete this project.
Good.
Because they're getting no funding from the school system.
Okay.
On that note, we're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back with Steve and Jim right after this.
Hi, this is Steve Rinaldo, host of the Classic Car Show on America's Web Radio. Just talking to you about antique car insurance. I think that if you're looking for the best coverage for your classic car, consider J.C. Taylor Insurance. They've been my insurer for years in this hobby and have the top rating of all of the insurance companies in the hobby. When you get ready for insurance, call J.C. Taylor or visit jctaylor.com on the Internet.
My name is Kyle Hayes, a motorsports student at Alfred State College. Every year, Alfred State students compete in the Great Race, which is a cross-country time endurance rally for vintage vehicles. As you can imagine, it's pretty costly. I'm asking for your help. Your donation can make it possible for these students to live their passion and promote the vintage automobile industry. Please visit our site at give.alfredstate.edu and search Great Race to learn more and help us reach our goal. Thank you.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And we're back on the Classic Car Show with Steve Rinaldo and Jim Weber. Nothing like, I washed my tongue this morning and I can't do a thing with
that's
it.
Okay. That's okay. I've
But
been
anyway,
called worse.
Mr. Rinaldo and Mr. Weber, and they're streaming on YouTube, and they'll soon be streaming on something else, but we got their mug shots up there and ready to go. And it's going to be a great, great weekend.
Hey, it's Mother's Day weekend, too.
And it is.
I've been called a mother by a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I'm not wishing you a happy Mother's Day.
Were those driving down the road, or were those
but it was an interesting national meet. It really was. And
Well, it sounds like fun.
yeah, it was different, but it was the same, just a little different.
Yeah.
You know, the procedures were a little different, but it was kind of cool, and I'm glad to see them back again. And then
were you able to recognize friends with their masks on?
Most of the owners did not have a mask on. I would say the bulk of the public who came and the car owners did not. But AAC required the judging team to do that.
That's probably a good idea because they have more exposure, I would think.
Yeah, now when is Amelia Island?
22nd and 23rd of May. A couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Bill was talking about trying to talk about the exhibitors having masks.
Yeah.
Because of the number of people that will be coming. I'm just curious if that ever happened. We'll find out.
Yeah, well, we'll talk to him afterwards. I'm sure he's buried right now.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to put stuff together. And
I know. I can't go this year, so I can't go. Then we had just a week and a week and a half ago. We were on the Chrome Glidden, VMCCA Chrome Glidden. We drove Brenda Thunderbird up to the Great Smoky Mountains. We stayed at a Hilton in Alcoa, Tennessee.
Yes.
Right by the airport.
Yes.
And there were 102 cars. And so about 240 people involved in this tour. It was a week long. Got to finally meet Ray. Nice man. And we did some really interesting things. The Great Smoky Mountains Park is a beautiful place.
Isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. But they took us on one road, for all of you motorcycle guys, and you're all talking about the tail of the dragon up in North Carolina. Go up and do the Devil's Triangle. It made that tail of the dragon look like an interstate.
A real pucker factor.
Whoa, you got to be kidding me. Up and down this mountain, and we had the bird, and a lot of people don't know what to do. We were following 3 cars down the mountain, and it switchback. I'll tell you how bad the switchbacks were. Jeff Stum, who puts on the Great Race for Coker, brought a 58 Mercury hardtop station wagon.
Yes.
They're very rare.
Yeah, Turnpike Cruiser.
No. It was they had another name for it, but there's no center post.
Yeah.
So it was really rare, and I told him, this is huge, this car. I said, this morning when I went out to get the car and bring stuff out, I said, there were some B-52s doing touch and goes on the roof.
They had those taillights that were,
slanted.
Huge.
Yeah, slanted like this.
Yeah.
But he couldn't, on some of these switchbacks, he couldn't get that car around. So he had to stop, back up, and swing again to get through some of these switchbacks.
Wow.
On that Devil's Triangle. I mean, it is just, amazing. And then you get up, and then all of a sudden you see
I was just thinking, my GPS, they'll say, at the next intersection, take a slight right turn.
Yeah.
And on what you're talking about, take a sharp right turn.
Yeah. Oh, it was something. I mean, it really was something. And you're going up, and all of a sudden, I think I saw 3 trailers. This is where they got the Unabomber. Somewhere up in this area is where they got the Unabomber in the Great Smoky Mountains. I don't see how you could find anybody up there.
What when he was telling that story, what was the first thing that came to your mind? I know in my mind, pulling a trailer, and you were talking about, was Desi and Lucy.
Oh, Lucy,
Yeah. The long trailer.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
They premiered that in Jamestown, right?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, because Lucy
was from there.
Yeah.
But anyway, you'd see a couple of these big, Brenda and I was, how did they get this damn thing up here? How did they get it? I don't know how they got it. I don't know how they got it.
These were vacationers.
No, one guy had about 75 rebel flags out on his, if you will, lawn with the three obligatory Camaros and Mustangs up on cement blocks, and
yeah, but the guys pulling the trailers were the old.
No,
geezers.
they couldn't go. You couldn't get a trailer up there. You
Yeah.
just couldn't do it. It would be impossible.
But they were vacationers, not.
These were these people living. No, these were people living there.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, living on this horrible road. I mean, it was really wild. Really
Was
unusual.
there a roadside stand selling shine?
No. Now in North Carolina, it's legal.
Oh, is it?
It's all over
It
the place.
spoils the fun.
It's all over the place. We went to, what was the name of the prison? It's where James Earl Ray went.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember,
Yeah.
but that was quite a place. They called this prison the end of the road because you ain't leaving. I mean, it was really, whoa, what a place. And that was a stop, and we had lunch at the prison cafeteria.
You're kidding.
No, they had a catered lunch there, and
And they let you out.
yeah. I mean, it was.
Brenda did a lot of talking.
It was really cool. That's why I like the tours. Brushy Mountain Penitentiary.
Okay.
I would never make the effort to go
Yes.
there. I
Yeah.
just wouldn't. And once you get there, say, but this is really cool. They had a whipping post. They still were whipping people.
Isn't what, North Carolina or South Carolina? They're going to do death by firing
Yeah,
squad.
You get a choice. You because they can't get the drugs
for the injection.
So
Lethal, yeah.
this week the legislature just put in.
Point of that story is, don't get convicted.
If you can't do the time don't do the crime, brother. But that was cool. And then we had one really bad day. We went to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg.
Oh,
I mean, that's in any block you can do 3 things.
Did Dolly come out and say hello?
No. But they asked me if I would fill in for her, but I said I have to go buy some watermelons. So anyway, on any block up there, you can play around a mini golf, buy a T-shirt, and get a tattoo.
Oh, wow. All 3, huh?
The same block.
Jim, you ask. I just can't bring it to myself to ask. Where'd you get your tattoo done?
Oh, right here.
Don't show us. I'm too young.
But
he got his tattoo done in
but
Pigeon
of course,
Forge.
of course, that was the shopping day for women because there's like 3,000 outlet malls in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. So it was very, very thrilling.
Never a dull moment, huh?
Let me ask a question. Have you ever heard of a tour that just guys went on? Has there ever been a men-only tour?
No, I don't think so.
Or an old geezer tour? They ought to think about that.
Yeah, well,
look at all the money it'd save.
That might be, if you do a divisional tour in AACA, you can do any way you want. Like the one that I'm involved with in Mount Airy in October is they stopped at cars 1971 is the latest. Why? Because this is all about Andy Griffith and Mayberry.
Yes.
All about, and that was the year of the last show of Andy Griffith. So they stopped it at the year of the last show.
Okay. With that, we're going to take our next break and let people think about it. Golly.
Yeah,
Hello, my name is Rick White, and I'm the director of the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. I want to encourage all Georgia veterans to consider being nominated to the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. And if you are a Georgia veteran, and the definition of a Georgia veteran is either you were born in the state of Georgia, or you've lived here 10 years, or you were raised your right hand and joined the military in this state, you are considered a Georgia veteran. For further information, go to www.gmbhof.org, or you can contact me at 678-427-0915. We'd love to have your nomination for the Georgia Military Veterans Hall of Fame. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Steve Rinaldo, host of the Classic Car Show on America's Web Radio, talking to you about antique car insurance. In this hobby that I've been part of for years, not all insurance companies and insurance coverage is the same. I would suggest that you call J.C. Taylor or visit jctaylor.com to find out some information about some of the best antique car insurance you can get, such as agreed value insurance for your classic car. Again, when you get ready to insure your classic, antique, or even your street rod, call J.C. Taylor Insurance or visit jctaylor.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Okay, we're coming back on America's Web Radio and the Classic Car Show, talking about tours again, which is, Jim, let's go in together and buy something.
A Model A. A Model A would be the car to have.
No, we'd have to pull it or get a trailer then. And
yeah. A lot of people drive. We have a friend in on the south side, Ray, and his partner, his friend, and their wives, they drive. They have taken and circumvented the United States. They drove the borders right along the oceans, Canada border, down California. They did the whole thing. They've driven to Alaska. They've driven to Panama Canal Zone in their Model A's.
He's got an overdrive in his, doesn't he?
Yeah, like I do. Yeah. But anyway, sort of to let people know about things. On Thursday night, I was getting stuff ready to leave, load the car, because...
so the tour went Monday to Thursday?
No, Friday. But we decided we were going to get back because we had so much stuff. We were way behind on stuff after the national meet and all of this. So we went to Sequoia's birthday place. Now, Sequoia, that was another... I never would make the effort. Sequoia was a Cherokee Indian who made the Cherokee alphabet, made and did all of the words and all of this. And what was interesting is he's one of the 100 people that are most influential people, statues in the Capitol. He's one of 100. I never would have... See, again, that's one of the benefits. You go to this, this was pretty cool. This guy made the alphabet so they could write down their history and do this stuff. But
Cherokees were very...
they were so far ahead of the Americans that lived in those areas. But I asked him, I said, well, how can you write Kemosabe in Cherokee? And they just laughed. They thought that was pretty funny. But anyway...
I give up.
So
does Brenda have a leash on him when she's
we were...
Taser.
So anyway, we were probably an hour and a half down the road towards Atlanta, knowing we were going to do that. So we just jumped on the interstate and went home from there. But Thursday night I was carrying stuff out, and a guy we know really well, Morris Campbell, had a 49, 50, 51 Ford truck pickup. Not a show car, but a regular, just like you would expect a used 51, I'll call it, truck to look like. Somebody had hit this thing, and you know how big those and heavy those bumpers are on those things, and bent the bumper till it was almost facing forward, and left. It dented the front fender on the driver's side, and bent this bumper out and left. Now, can you imagine whatever hit that, what their car looks like? I mean, you bend that gigantic, heavy bumper.
Unless it was a garbage truck.
Or we were in the parking lot of the hotel. They had a parking lot reserved, so we think it was somebody with a trailer who did it. Try to cut a corner instead of going down the end of the row and going out like you're supposed to. But anyway, so they couldn't find it. The hotel camera, and this is at the airport. The airport camera didn't see anything happen. All they saw were cars moving, and they can't identify. Like at night when you see them on TV, you can't identify what they are. So they tried to find out who did it. Whatever, they couldn't. But he called his classic car insurance company. When he got home, Morris told me what happened, and they said, "Don't worry about it, just get it fixed." See, if you would have had a regular car insurance company, there'd have been, we need 27 estimates, and we need pictures, and we need affidavits, and we're only going to pay for this, and we're not doing that.
All right, let's back up a minute. If we think it was a trailer, some of these guys have trailer insurance with the classic car.
Yeah, but they can't. They don't know who it is. They have no idea who it is.
Well, he could call the insurance company, say, did somebody report a trailer being damaged?
Yeah. Well, after
anyway.
he talked to his antique car insurance, they just said, I don't know who it was, but I'm sure it's, it could very well be J.C. Taylor. They was just, no, go ahead, get it taken care of. There was no question, just get it taken care of.
Yeah. That reminds me, you said one of our sponsors, J.C. Taylor, and if you've got a classic car or a muscle car or whatever the case might be, and you haven't checked with J.C. Taylor, be sure that you call them and get them to give you an estimate, and their service is second to none.
Yeah, but I mean, when Morris called me and told me what the guy said, that just, there's just no hassle. We'll just get it taken care of. There was no question, not even a problem, not even just get it taken. Send us the bill.
Wow.
Like you said, God, what happened to the trailer or whatever hit it?
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine if it was a car. I can imagine the gash that's in the side of that car.
Oh, yeah.
But you would know that you hit somebody.
You'd have to, even in a trailer, because you hit that and bend that bumper, that big heavy thing is going to scoop that trailer over.
And this parking area was just for tour cars.
Well, yeah, it was, and also some of the hotel guests used it too.
Okay.
So you don't know who or what.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
But
anyway, any sports cars on the tour?
No, there wasn't. This is mostly 50s and 60s and some 40s cars.
Yeah, but that's fun.
Yeah, and the rule is it has to have chrome bumpers and stuff.
Yeah.
So
$5,000 later.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I really like that they do on their tours, to be honest, other than when they host the regular Glidden tours, I've not been.
Yeah.
This was my first time, and they have a after some activity they have a open forum where the officers get up and talk very quickly, and then Ray got up and talked about stuff like where the financials are, and then he started talking about membership and what can we do about this stuff. And people had some good ideas. So you ask your membership, what can we do about these things?
Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. What would you say was the average age? 60, 70?
I would say most everybody. I would say 60s.
Okay.
The both. There were some younger ones and a couple older guys.
Okay.
A couple older people, but most of them I'd say were in their 60s.
Okay.
And so, it was kind of interesting. They had some nice tour cars. What was amazing? There was probably 10, 15 people drove to the Alcoa, Tennessee from Texas. They drove their cars from Texas here to there. A lot of 50s Ford. It was a beautiful 55 or 6 Ford convertible. Really nice. There's a lot of nice cars there.
Good.
A lot of really nice stuff.
Well, I'm glad to see people getting out again.
Yeah,
and enjoying it.
The hobby is recovering.
Yeah.
Activities, but the big discussion is, like always, is the getting younger people involved and overall membership loss due to several reasons.
Yeah. Just a little point on chrome bumpers. When I was a kid and I started out.
You were a kid?
Yeah. I started out in the import store, but the main store was Buick Olds Cadillac. And the guys in the body shop would take one of these, I'm talking 57, 58, 59, these huge bumpers off. And there was a company that would come and pick them up and repair them and take the dents out of them and get them chromed.
Dipping.
Yeah. But, of course, now we all have bumper covers. But the point I was trying to make is that was a lucrative business back then because it was cheaper to take the dents out of the bumper and have it chromed than it was to buy a new bumper from General Motors or Ford. And you remember some of those bumpers were massive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me ask. I went to one operation that did that, and as I recall, and you all know better than I, but you almost had to wear a gas mask.
Yeah. It's lethal. That's why most of the states have outlawed. You know what we ought to do is we ought to get one of the chrome shops.
I've tried.
On have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul's or
the guy up in Alabama.
Yeah, Graves.
Yeah.
Graves.
Paul's, Graves, or Nashville. The one in Nashville.
Yeah, and then the one
Advanced.
and the one in Tennessee or in Pennsylvania.
That's Paul's.
Paul's.
I think.
Yeah. Okay.
They're big.
It was a dipping process.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's nickel and copper and
there's show chrome and regular chrome. If you do show chrome, there's three. It's a 3-stage thing. If you do regular chrome, it's 2-stage.
Is there a?
From what I understand, I may be wrong. But
is there an acid dip someplace in that process?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they have to get it off.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not nuts.
And then they polish the metal like it's chrome before they start plating it.
Huh. And isn't there
and there's a nickel.
electrical charge? Or
Yeah, that's how they do it. Yeah, you charge the whatever you're going to put on positive, and you charge the other stuff negative, and it just jumps on and grabs on, and then
when they're doing like that, how did they get it so smooth?
They polish. They have huge wheels. You go to a chrome plating shop, they have wheels that are like 6 feet around, and some guy wears a hazmat suit and polishes. They have all these fixtures, and they polish this stuff.
Wow.
But it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And very lethal. That's why and it's exceedingly. I can't imagine they say the car with the most chrome on it was a '58 Buick Limited. because they had that big panel on the side too in the back that sort of went all the way back, and I can't imagine what the chrome plate. It'd probably be $25,000 by the time you're done if you did everything on that car.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
That's
that okay.
Yeah, you know. And
I'm gonna run out and buy one.
Well, can you imagine just a radiator shell on a, let's say, a Bentley or a Rolls, something like that in the 30s?
Weren't they silver?
They were their silver and nickel, weren't they?
I don't know. I know there's some kind of silver that they used.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of my Healy that everything under the bonnet was chromed.
That's unusual.
Well, I mean, the guy had done it.
Oh, okay.
He did it, yeah. Well, back then, before all the laws and rules, chrome plating was not overly expensive. It's like, you know, it was the same as painters, and now painters have to have all of the
downdraft booth. And
all of that, all of the equipment. It's not like it used to be.
Well, with that being said, a cheery note, I must add, we'll be back right after this.
My name is Kyle Hayes, a motorsports student at Alfred State College. Every year, Alfred State students compete in the Great Race, which is a cross-country time endurance rally for vintage vehicles. As you can imagine, it's pretty costly. I'm asking for your help. Your donation can make it possible for these students to live their passion and promote the vintage automobile industry. Please visit our site at give.alfredstate.edu and search Great Race to learn more and help us reach our goal. Thank you.
Hi, this is Steve Rinaldo, host of the Classic Car Show on America's Web Radio. Just talking to you about antique car insurance. I think that if you're looking for the best coverage for your classic car, consider J.C. Taylor Insurance. They've been my insurer for years in this hobby and have the top rating of all of the insurance companies in the hobby. When you get ready for insurance, call J.C. Taylor or visit jctaylor.com on the internet.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And we're back on the Classic Car Show with Steve Rinaldo and Jim Weber. See, I can do it right.
Good. Thank you.
We can have Jim Rinaldo and Steve Weber.
Bill Johnson. Hey, Bill, how you doing? But no,
and our stealth guest today.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh,
no big thing. But anyway, so it was the two events. I kicked off the season pretty well, I think.
Good. Now, what's your next one?
Well, there's a 3-day divisional tour in the Chesapeake Bay area, but it's so popular. What just kind of interesting too. What AACA regions did that are hosting these things? They had the people that signed up last year for these tours, and they gave them first choice for this year's tours when they're on. So most of the people that wanted to do last year when it was canceled re-signed up, so there's a giant waiting list to do some of these tours.
Yeah, because you were going to do one in Oklahoma last year.
Arizona.
Yeah,
that's why we bought the Jag to go out there.
Is that on for this year?
Yeah. There are 3 Western tours, one VMCCA, and one at somewhere around Oklahoma, and then the one that we were going to do in Arizona is back on.
And then you're going to do the one in Saratoga in September.
Yes, we hope. And there's another couple, and then the one that I'm involved in, the Divisional Tour, the Andy Griffith Tour. Which should be kind of fun. Yeah. And Hershey, they're hoping Hershey. But like Steve was saying, that because they're a nonprofit and get government funding, so they don't know what the laws in Pennsylvania will be by that time. And somewhere I just saw there was an article in. Oh, so it was in the Cadillac magazine about Fred Simeone and his museum.
Is he open? Is he back open? Is he? Okay.
Yeah. So things are starting to get back to normal in the car hobby. Oh, the same weekend we were in Knoxville for the tour, Street Rod Nationals were there, and they had over 1,000 cars
Wow.
at Knoxville.
Hmm.
And one of the guys from here got his hot rod truck stolen right out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
They just smashed the window and drove it away.
Hey.
Recovered?
No, they don't know any. Not that I've heard yet. But it had a LS something engine in and all this other stuff.
It's probably on a boat to somewhere.
Well, either that or in an Alabama chop shop.
Yeah. Sand Mountain?
Hmm?
The Sand Mountain.
Yeah, I don't know that
That's
whole big area over
Yeah,
there.
that's the
I
Sand
think-
Mountain.
I think that's gone now. That's where they used to steal. No, they're still doing it.
Hey, you go to Albertville,
Yeah, Albertville. Yeah.
you see miles of used car dealers. Miles.
Yeah, made out of a Rector set.
Yeah, you get
A Rector set
When
cars.
you buy the car, you get two titles, one for the back and one for the front. And the engine serial number doesn't match either one.
Yeah, yeah. That was always an infamous thing in the car industry. That.
Yeah, there in
That
Murray,
area.
Murray, Kentucky, which is shut down. Murray was the other big one.
Yeah, where they would do that stuff. But anyway, it's nice to see things are getting back to normal
Yeah.
to some degree. The events around here are are doing well. At the Caffeine and Octane, Mike Teese called while I was at the other one. He said, "There's so many people here. They're riding around the mall trying to find a parking spot. They're just trying to find a place to stop." So,
Yeah. Good. Hey, it's good. The
No,
hobby.
something like that just is never walking up and down looking at whatever. I'm like you on the tours. That would be fascinating. I'd love to do that.
what to go to the
Tours.
The tours, but
the car shows?
yeah, but just to go out on perimeter.
Well,
parking
something that big, they have a specialty car area blocked off, where if you bring an antique car, or you bring something that's unusual, they have a place where they send you go in and park. But a lot of times it's just row after row after row of, and nothing wrong with it, but Challengers and Camaros.
New cars.
Yeah, and new Porsches and new BMWs, and I mean these guys are happy with it. That's fine. But it's
Whatever floats your boat.
yeah.
Well, at least there's people supporting the hobby. That's
Yeah, it's like, I'm not a big fan of the rice rockets that these kids have with those horrible noisy mufflers.
Yeah.
Well, but those are the hot rodders and antique car guys of the future.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to, just like when Walt Seeley told me when I did my 32 Ford in 62, 63 and drove it down to his place and said, "What the hell are you doing with that damn thing?" I said, well, he goes, "Well, when you grow up, you'll quit messing around with that crap." He was right.
He had the American underslungs.
Yeah, he did the underslungs.
Yeah.
But he was right. Most of the people tend to change as they get older, and they have more money. Let's face it, a little rice rocket doesn't cost that much. But when you start getting into some of the other cars, and now the resto mods, that's one of the things I wanted to ask our guy. I don't know where he is, but if he's in the business of hot rods, what does he see as where is this stuff going?
Yeah. The other thing is people are bringing little children to these car shows.
And tours now.
And are they on the tour?
Yeah,
too?
because the clubs have finally realized that, you do tours in the summer when school is out so grandma and grandpa can take the kids.
Yeah.
Or mom and dad can take the kids, like I did, and do these things.
Yeah.
Because, it's an education, too. Like I said, I never even heard of Sequoia. And he's one of the top 100 people in the history of America that was not a government weenie.
Okay. Well,
You know, this is something that we say, pardon me, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
It's something that we say on all of our shows, particularly our veteran shows, is that a veteran today, and we beg the veterans to take their kids, their grandkids, whatever, put them on their lap and tell them what they did in the service and what it means to honor the flag and what it means to honor the country. And that's the same with the car hobby, is that, you know, the grandparents, and, you know, we tried starting a Grandparents' Day, but they will be the ones writing the history books. The history books aren't covering this stuff like they should. And the parents and grandparents need to tell them. And, you know, one of my favorite stories is my grandfather owned, we all grew up in Texas and they lived in Texas, but he owned property and businesses in New Mexico and Dr. Pepper plants, as a matter of fact. And my mother told the story many times that I can't remember what car they had, but the night before they'd put the bricks by the fireplace, heat up the bricks, and that was their heating system going over to New Mexico to check on business before cars had heaters.
They went at 10, 2, and 4.
Yeah. Do you know why that is?
No.
You don't know about Doc? I thought I told you the story.
You may have, but I've forgotten. So
you know what the main ingredients of Dr. Pepper
Prunes.
is? Prune juice.
Yeah.
And if you take it at 10, 2, and 4, you'll be regular. And that's why.
I love it.
And there was, and my grandfather knew him, and that's why my grandfather bought Dr. Pepper plants. But there was a Dr. Pepper, and he was like the traveling snake oil person back in the
Brother Love's Traveling Salvation Show.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Exactly.
Well, you know, I belong to the Marietta VFW and the Disabled American Veterans, DAV.
Yeah.
And they're having a very hard time, veterans organizations recruiting members. Very hard time.
Well, we're doing Philip Farsberg is in DAV and is a service officer, and if anybody needs to find out what their relative or their veteran or, you know, go to one of the organizations like VFW or American Legion or whatever and ask for a service officer, and they will guide you through the cobweb of the VA and all the programs and benefits that are available.
Yes, they do, and that's how when I had the surgery and stuff, it's so frustrating to deal with the VA. I had DAV as my advocate. They're still my advocate. So anything that I get from VA goes also to my DAV advocate, so that he can answer it and see what to do. So I'm right in the middle of another discussion with this. This is.
I'm going to bite my tongue on this, but you know, Steve, you're an extremely smart person and a veteran, which we honor. But you know, if you have problems with them, just think a family member that has no clue. You know, we encourage the family members, particularly if their veteran husband or whatever dies or anything like that, to go to a service organization and talk to a service officer.
Even the bigger of the VFWs, DAVs, Purple Order of the Purple Heart, AMVETS, right near just for Atlanta people anyway, right near the Atlanta VA hospital. Just before you get there on Claremont, there's a 3-story short building that's off to the right before you go into their parking lot, and that's where the service officers are. You can go there and contact these people, and they'll get you set up. They'll get you a guy, and it's right near the hospital. And as an individual, you have no horsepower with the VA. Nothing. Not a thing.
These service officers that we keep talking about, they have to go through a lot of training before you can become a service officer. And they do. They literally go back to a schooling, and then they keep up with all the changes and
they try because there's always so much.
Oh yeah.
And anyway, some of the DAV, Disabled American Veterans, they have specific people that do take care of certain things. I think of and I don't know. I think DAV, if it's service connected, is probably the one with the most push. I think they're the one with the most push. So,
well, we're going to have to wrap it up, and thank everybody for listening. And we will see you next week on the Classic Car Show. Steve, thank you, and Jim, thank you for being in.
You're welcome.
And this is fun, and I'm getting my whistle wet to go on a tour. I would love to do that one of these days soon. Thank you all for listening.
See you later.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Steve Rinaldo, host of the Classic